Hi everyone. I hope everyone can hear me properly. And I'm glad to have all of you here. Hi Haza. I hope you got on the Discord and you're enjoying yourself. People love all the books they get to read on the Discord server. And if you want to get on the Discord server, just go to historically.substack.com and become a paid subscriber for just $5 a month. Hello, Steve Richter. And you are also a fellow Michigander, right? Yes. So, where to begin? That's actually kind of funny because yesterday, oh God, it looked like the Twitter hot take. Oh, good morning, Lumpia Logic. It's good to see you too. I like having regular people. It's like, so it feels like a family. Yep, my parents live in Kalamazoo. Oh, Angelo's here. Awesome. Okay, hold on. Okay. Hi, Angelo. How are you doing?
Very good, very good. I'm in Caracas right now. I hope it's not too loud here.
No, it's perfect. We can hear you perfectly.
Great.
Okay, so in that case, let's just. I don't want to. Since you're in Caracas, thank you so much for joining us from Caracas. Quick question. What are you doing in Caracas? And is there anything you kind of want people to quickly know about this?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
What are you doing in Caracas? And is there something that people should quickly know about this trip?
Something very important is happening in Venezuela. I'm following up with the elections in November, and many things can happen from those elections. We're expecting the lifting of sanctions. And since I have a long history with Venezuela, I used to live here 20 years ago.
Wow.
And I was actually in the early days when Chavez got in power. He got in power in 97. I was here in 99. So it was a movement of vibes of revolution, very interesting movement. So now I'm following up, and I think it's a critical time right now because the country is really expecting the lifting of sanctions. So that's the reason I'm here.
So they think the U.S. is going to lift sanctions?
We're hoping that they're going to lift the sanctions because the opposition is actually is not going to boycott the elections. So it's going to be completely legitimate elections.
But all the elections, never mind. Okay, fine. All the elections were kind of legitimate, but this is a long story. But
no, they were. I mean, when I say they are going to be legitimate, just because, well, they were always legitimate. I mean, very transparent. But what happens is that the U.S. were, because of the opposition was boycotting the elections, they found this excuse to say it's not legitimate. Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
You're right.
They'll find it. Okay. I am not as optimistic as you because I just don't trust the U.S. yet. But let's get started because I don't. Hello, good morning and good afternoon. Good morning. So let's just get started. So we're gonna review, since you also live mainly in Hong Kong. So I kind of want to talk to you about this Washington Post article. Okay, it says American law. I love that democracy dies in darkness. Like it's like I wanted to. Yeah, no, you're going to kill democracy. But let's start this. American lawyer imprisoned in Hong Kong speaks about his treatment. So let's see. Okay, so the important thing. Okay, so the first thing is that let me read this paragraph. I don't know if you can see this, but Bickett, 37, arrived in Hong Kong 9 years ago as a corporate lawyer handling cases for American companies in Asia. But his fate has come to embody fears about diminished rule of law in Chinese territory and unchecked power of police force after he was convicted and jailed for assaulting a police officer who identified himself only such after arresting Bickett. He also is out on bail and appealing the verdict. So my first thought on this is it's kind of racist that they think that just because it doesn't use British law, it's the diminished rule of law.
Well, it's just it's a manipulated article. The reality is that this
Oh,
American lawyer, he actually beat up a policeman. There's actually a
I know,
video you
but
can
hold
see.
on one
And
second.
so
Let me just read that part. Let me find it. They've totally lied here.
yeah.
Okay. So, okay. So, okay, Bickett was going to this part. Look at this. Compared to I want to read this and then show the video and then we discuss. Bickett was going to meet a friend in December 2019 when he saw a man hitting a teenager with an extendable baton. An altercation ensued between the man, identified later as Yu Shu Sang, and the bystander. Yu lunged at Bickett, fell over the railing before Bickett subdued him and wrestled the baton away. Okay. What part is any of the? Let's just watch this video of what actually happened compared to their description.
Hey, Amos! Go on. What are you doing? Right, show me. Show me. Are you Popo? Are you Popo?
No. From the left, in the
Are you
middle.
Popo? Yes. Don't touch me. Police. Bring the police. You stay there. Bring the police. Police.
So, how many lies did you see that in one sentence compared to the video?
It's all lies. It's completely lies. So the policeman identified himself as a policeman.
Yes, I saw that. He said police in English too.
Exactly. And so Beckett, what he says, the lawyer says, "Are you a popo?" I mean, the popo is a insulting term in Hong Kong for policemen, and you need to look at the context. Back then, there were a lot of protesters beating up policemen. So here, it's just this article is full of blatant lies.
Yeah, I was shocked. So first of all, there was the police officer was not beating up anyone with the baton, and the fact that there's a video that's accessible on Twitter is shocking to me. That they would, I mean, not shocking, but the audacity to lie like this when there's a video that shows you the complete opposite story. So it does not look like the policeman was beating anyone up with a baton when Beckett got in there. And it looks like the policeman did not fall over the rail. Beckett pushed him over, right? And it was a group of 3 people beating him up.
Yeah, it's embarrassing for Western media to show the video. The video is accessible. Everybody can go online, see the video, and they're not showing the video. So it's just exposed. It's easy to expose the lies of Western media, because once you see the video, it's very obvious that he's beating up a policeman, and the policeman is not beating anyone. And this is in the context of extremely chaotic Hong Kong during the 2019 riots. By the way, the riots were actually U.S. sponsored, financed riots. We shouldn't go into history. I mean,
I've written an article about it. I can put a link later. So okay, I have a quick question. So then let's okay. So let's see. So there's really stupid stuff. So he was actually treated better in jails than they ever would in America. But okay. Let's see. Okay. So can we talk about the national security law quickly? What does it do, and how is the Washington Post distorting this, the idea of this law?
Well, actually, this arrest is not related to the link to the national security law. It has nothing to do with national security law.
Okay.
It's a simple, just a citizen beating up a policeman. I mean, you should imagine if this happened in the U.S.
They would be in jail for 30 or 40 years.
For a long, long time.
Or they might not even make it out. They might be just shot.
I don't know.
Yeah,
exactly.
they might just
Exactly. They might get shot. Yeah. So here, national security law is it's a separate subject, and it was enacted a year ago, just because Hong Kong was supposed to enact a national security law already 25 years ago, according to the basic law, which is the mini constitution of Hong Kong, Article 23. So just keep in mind that every single country around the world has national security laws. You need to have a national security law to just avoid to have agents, foreign agents on your soil. And this is what happened in Hong Kong. You had just CIA agents running in the streets, training protesters to how to throw petrol bombs. The meddling was just disgusting. Now you know what? The majority of Hong Kong people are just happy that there's a national security law. Imagine the population of Hong Kong is 7.5 million people. There was a petition of 3 million people signing a petition for having a national security law. So we are talking about a large silent majority that was suffering because of the riots. And this is the hijacking of a small minority, extremely violent minority, which is financed by the US.
Oh yeah. This is okay. So actually, this is related to the next topic. So I'm going to share this really dumb article from Bloomberg. Can you see this?
I don't know. I don't know if I should laugh or cry. It's just, well, it's the usual stuff. It's just,
Yeah.
you just read the headline and you have an idea of what you can expect.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So let's see.
What is it?
The Henry Kissinger Distinguished Professor.
War criminal.
Yeah, no, he works. Okay, the guy who wrote this article, Hal Brand is a Bloomberg opinion columnist. The Henry Kissinger Distinguished Professor at Johns Hopkins School of Advancement. Okay. Okay, sorry, that was just like, thank you so much, Rob. Okay, sorry, that just like, okay. So let's see. China has, yet many of Beijing's policy has a distinctly imperial feel. A case in point is a wide-ranging effort to give Chinese law enforcement global reach and thereby hound regime's enemies wherever they may go. Programs in question are known as Operation Foxhunt and Operation Skynet. As ProPublica reported, their stated purpose is to track down white-collar criminals who have sought refuge abroad. Yet in many cases, real targets are dissidents or political foes of Xi. Network of this sounds like oh my god, this sounds like conspiracy mongering. Is this even true?
I'm sorry, it got noisy here.
Oh no, I said okay. They said that network of Chinese agents have fanned out across countries around the world. To me, it sounds like conspiracy nonsense because it's according to the U.S. Justice Department. Is this even true?
Well, it's the U.S. have this habit to accuse other countries of what they're actually doing themselves. The China is not doing that, but the U.S. is doing that. They're tracking people around the world. They can abduct people. I remember that they during the war on terror, they abducted the imams in Italy without the approval of Italian authorities. So this is not China. This is absolutely not the China style. China doesn't meddle into other countries' affairs. It goes the legal way. If you have someone that break the law in China, well, they have bilateral extradition treaties, and it goes through the laws. But foreign agents, well, Of course, I mean, there's probably intelligence, like through embassies, every single country has a certain level of, local intelligence, but there's no, it's very passive when it comes to China. I doubt they are as aggressive, and when it comes to meddling inside a country's affair, China wouldn't do that. I mean, China is about business when, and not so much about meddling in politics.
Okay, so this is where they give up their game. It says, and China's fox hunters are not simply stalking prey in underdeveloped countries. So they're actually upset that they're like white people can't get away with embezzlement or like whatever crimes. Like it's literally that they are like this, just like because that's what America does, and it's just that like they're like, okay, we don't want you to hold us responsible for it. This is what I think it is.
It's the claim's always vague. Chinese officials say, I mean, why don't they give reference? They put figures, but there's no reference.
Yeah, there never is, because half the time it's just made up. Okay, so okay, so like I said, America renditions people from all over the world. So let's cut the outrage. You're just okay. Suppress. Okay. 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 Yes. It has had extradited Uyghurs who were involved in ISIS. Right?
No, they did. They did actually. They extradited terrorists, especially in Thailand. In 2004, they extradited around 100 Uyghurs. They were supposed to go over to fight the combat in Syria, and because of that, ETIM, the Uyghur terrorist organization, they put a bomb in Hong Kong, in central not in Hong Kong, in Bangkok, central Bangkok, that killed 20 people.
Wow.
That gives you an idea. So extradition of terrorists, that's all China does, and it goes through the legal way. It has high governments, and they have bilateral treaties of extradition, and they went the legal way. It's not about abductions. The US does abductions around the world. China would never do that.
Okay, this paragraph is really funny. What makes these arrangements different from classical imperial coercion is that the host countries are free to opt out of them. That is false. Let me quickly explain. What they do is they put in like the psychotic dictator who needs the US government to protect them from the people. And in theory, yes, but you need to kind of have a revolution for them to do that. But like this is a joke.
No, it's a joke. I mean, really, it's a joke. It's just, I don't know how they write those articles.
Okay, and this is just that they're upset that it's China and not them. It's exploitive labor. Okay, so China actually took out over 1 billion people out of poverty. It's not exploiting labor. Okay, and then we will finally get.
Here, yeah.
Go ahead.
Please. No, where he say China, or what is China exporting? I mean, it's exporting goods.
Yeah.
It might try to export a bit of culture, but this is self power. It's exporting technology. It's the Belt and Road Initiative. It's actually it's helping people to put the foundation for prosperity.
Exactly.
It's not about invading a country with the army and imposing a fake democracy. It's about putting the foundation for prosperity, and it's a win-win. China is actually recycling its trade surplus. They have vast reserve in US dollar reserve, and they invest in those reserves into tangible assets. Those tangible assets are the foundation for prosperity, and it's a win-win because Chinese neighbors are going to prosper, and they are going to actually trade more with China. It's the strategy of shifting the center of gravity of the world's economy towards Eurasia.
Well,
And
and it should be towards Eurasia because, like, about 5 of the 7 billion people live in this one circle between India and China. You know what I mean?
oh yeah. Well, I mean, the core is Eurasia, but in reality, if you study the One Belt One Road Belt and Road Initiative, it's about the global South. It's
Yes.
about just lifting up the global South, and it's a process of decolonization. Keep in mind that the global South, most of the global South is decolonized. A few countries are fighting and they don't want to be decolonized, but they are, and this is why they are under sanctions. I mean, a few examples, Afghanistan, Iran, Venezuela,
Myanmar.
Myanmar, they're just fighting against this new colonization. It's a new style, in the old days, they used to call it exporting civilization. Now, exporting, all those fake human rights,
Yes.
freedom, democracy. And it's all BS. It's because the Western style democracies are a system of control.
Yeah.
It gives you the illusion to have a free choice, but you don't. Where's the choice when you have to elect between two clowns? You have Biden and Trump. Those are two clowns. I mean, are those the best choices we have?
No.
It's just the game is rigged. Keep in mind that and it's rigged at the level of the Constitution. Constitutions are the rules of the games.
Ah.
What happens is that the elites wrote the rules of the games
Yes.
in their favor. In reality, a constitution should be written to protect the people against the elites. So we are giving this right to the elites. So you see, the whole thing is completely rigged. And plus, to have a democracy, you need some preconditions. Preconditions are no money meddling, no lobbying,
Yep.
no unbiased media, a
Yep.
constitution that is written by the people,
Yes.
and also check and balance. Some ways to actually outseat people that we elected if they are not following our wishes. Like referendum. Referendum is a good way just to outseat them. Have some kind of direct democracy. So this whole and also other preconditions are also maturity. People need to be mature to understand what it means to have a democracy. You need to have a country which is at peace. You cannot be at war and have a democracy.
No.
You cannot be attacked. I will give you an example. In Cuba is being attacked.
Constantly.
It could have reforms. They cannot do reforms. Why? Because it's completely attacked. If they open up the market and the information, the media and so on, imagine with millions of dollars being injected into Cuba, it would completely subvert, hijack Cuban democracy.
Yeah,
That
like
is
what happened to India. India was actually socialist until 1991. After the Soviet Union fell, India was forced to take an IMF loan where they just had to open up everything. And guess what? Now, like before it switched to capitalism, the BJP didn't even have had maybe 5 or 6 seats in the whole parliament. And so then foreign tech people started to flood these nonprofits, and then now we've had BJP who are very right wing Hindu. Well, they want to they say that it's Hinduism. Literally, what they want to keep is the caste system, and there's no other. Yeah, I mean, what they say versus what they literally want to keep the caste system and nothing else.
Yeah, Isha, keep in mind also, that democracy has also lots of problems. In the case of India, you have what we call the mob rule. Mob rule is when you have the majority, which is ruling at the expense of the minority.
Except it's not the majority. With BJP, most of them are just Modi's not, because they want to have a non-Brahmin face, but majority of them are high caste people. And all they're trying to do is keep the caste system as strong as possible. So what you have is people who were always in charge reasserting the caste. Before it was trying to get a little bit more equal, they're trying to do that again.
Yeah, no, I meant it was not the caste system. I mean, this caste system is completely unfair. I mean, it's disgusting. This system, especially nowadays. To have this system still existing. No, I meant more the problem, the cleavage between
Ah,
Muslims and Hindus. I mean, that's a huge problem. I mean,
oh,
right
yeah, yeah,
now
yeah, yeah. You're right.
they
Sorry.
actually, Muslims are becoming underdogs, and that is the
Yes,
problem of the mob rule. When you
yes,
have, it's if people have them, if you have a constitution that protects every minority, not to be bullied by the majority, because well, that's okay, but they don't have that, so you need safeguards. So you see how many preconditions you need to have a democracy.
yeah. In
And
India, the problem is
yeah,
that it's like you can always incite enough because there's a billion people. You can always incite enough to create violence, no, like anything, like for anything, um, and if there are a lot of poor people, you don't even have to money. It's a combination. Yeah, you're absolutely right, and um, but yeah, so like I said, if there's a foreign interference, what you do is you get you lose your democracy. You're absolutely right.
exactly. Keep in
Oh,
mind
oh,
that democracy is a process of self-determination. If you have meddling, if you don't have sovereignty, you cannot have democracy. It's as simple as that. So every time the US is meddling into other countries' affairs, it's actually undermining the country's democracy. You see, it's as simple as that. I mean, why would the US is doing things to other countries that it would never accept into the US. I mean, remember, the Russian gate, which was all completely fake news.
oh
But imagine, I mean, just well, in the case of Hong Kong, you had agents, CIA agents running around the city. They poured millions and millions of dollars to the open society of George Soros,
oh yeah,
National Endowment for Democracy, millions and millions of dollars. You know what? This is the way you hijack completely democracy. In Hong Kong, the U.S. institution paid universities to do study to pay $50 per protesters to go into the protest, and it was a case study. Just you need to
experiment.
fill in the form, and you give it was an experiment. So 1,200 people being paid $50, and because of that, they found out that on average, if you were to send one person to protest, that person would bring an average of 5 to 6 people with him or her. So imagine with 50, $60,000, you could get 70,000, 100,000 people out in the streets. Can you
And
imagine that?
and that's Hong Kong. In India, you probably can get it for $1.
Well, exactly. Imagine what it can do to India. Imagine what it did actually to Myanmar. To
Oh yeah,
Myanmar, USA there's a program of $60 million per year, and actually it diverted 42 million recently, going from humanitarian aid into civil society. Well, meaning, I mean, the term
yeah,
civil society, it's about how you can hijack democracy. I mean, basically, you're
yeah.
going to fund the opposition, and it's so you are undermining the country's democracy.
Angelo, feel free to say no if this is a question I'm going to ask a little out of left field, and feel free to say no if you're uncomfortable with this. But okay? So over the last few weeks, there was a coup in Guinea. Is that related to the Belt and Road
Yeah.
Initiative? Okay, can you tell us a little bit about that?
Okay, New Guinea. Well, I think every time there's a coup, there's something happening in any country, we need to take a look, have a higher view, and look at the whole geopolitics. Uh, every time it's a proxy war. There are proxy war between China and the US. It's a war of influence. New Guinea
No,
has
not New Guinea,
reserves
just
in
Guinea.
iron ore.
Just Guinea, Africa, West Africa, Conakry.
Guinea, yeah, Guinea, so yeah, Guinea, Africa. So basically, because China has conflicts, has tensions between China and Australia, and China is trying to cut its purchase of iron ore. in Australia. So Guinea is actually a potential partner. This is, they want to ship, to buy more from Guinea, which is run by different companies, Singaporean company and Rio Tinto, which is a Australian
Mining
company.
company, yeah.
So
They destroyed some like old like historical monument, right, in Australia, Rio Tinto.
yeah. So it's actually following the Australian Australian agenda, and also, by definition, Australia is a U.S. puppet, so U.S. State Department agenda. So here, the military that actually took over he was actually trained by he comes from the French Legion, and he was actually, it's
Oh yeah, he's also
he's
married
co-opted
to a
by the
French
US.
citizen, and
He
he's
has made
also
this made
he's married to a French citizen, and he also has um a dual citizenship with France. And I like, for me, I just don't understand how this is not recolonization.
No, I mean, keep in mind, Africa, there are 14 countries in Africa that are using a French issued currency. It's called the CFA, French CFA. So it's new style, new neo-colonialism. It comes in different forms. You are controlling the economy because you are actually the one printing the money. So, and you take a look at all Africa, it's still completely hijacked, and if it's not, it's under sanctions. Northern Africa, you saw, the Arab Spring. They
Mm-hmm.
tried to overthrow all the government of Northern Africa. So the meddling is very heavy. If they cannot put in place a puppet regime, they will destroy the economy. This is
Yeah.
what it's happening in Myanmar. They didn't succeed to put a puppet regime in Myanmar. Well, the second option is civil war. We are going to destroy the whole country, and
Wow.
going to set back Myanmar to 10 years ago. The same as they did in Venezuela. Right now I'm in Venezuela. The Venezuela I'm seeing right now, it's not the Venezuela I knew 20 years ago. It, it's you know there was no progress. It's completely stagnant. Now there's inflation. When I was here, $1 was 4,000 bolivares. Now $1 is 4 million bolivares. So now
Oh
there's a
wow.
parallel economy, which is in US dollar. In order
Wow.
to hedge, people are actually buying US dollar, and it's a de facto dollarized economy right now.
Oh my God, it reminds. That's how they did it with Ecuador, right?
Yeah, there are
So
many countries like this. This additional to that, there's. I give you an example. I'm one in one of the upscale areas in Caracas. We have water 3 times per day, only for 1 hour. We have a tanker, a buffer tanker, so we can have more water. But in reality, some people here have only water 3 times a day for 1 hour.
wow.
But
And why? And okay, so is it because of sanctions? Is it because of power? What's the issue?
I think it's related to power. But of course, it's directly also related to sanctions. Venezuela has the largest oil reserve in the world. If Venezuela was not under sanctions, it would be extremely rich country. What happens is that Venezuelan, they want, Chavez and now Maduro, they wanted the oil for the people. The
Hmm.
same as Saddam Hussein. Saddam
Okay,
Hussein
but
wanted the oil for the people,
oh,
and
by the way,
and
here's a
it's not
quick.
the same. Yeah.
Oh, here's just a quick map of the Belt and Road projects. And right now they're still in like they've it's just begun in Kenya. So I just wanted people to see this quickly.
Yes, they are vast project. Actually, there's much more to when it comes to Belt and Road Initiative, especially for Africa. Well, to give you an example, there are businessmen in Africa that when they want to travel within Africa, they flying to London, and then from London flying to another country in Africa,
Wait.
just because there are
That's
not internet
ridiculous.
connections.
So basically, so oh my God, that's so because there are no airports or no direct flights.
No, they're not the direct flights. So there's not enough traffic. What they could do in reality, when you look at the distances, they could have fast, railways. They
Yeah,
could have railways. They could simple, just build roads.
yeah.
Africa, it's still denied electricity. Many places in Africa don't have electricity. So it's about how you can contain those people. You keep them starving, they don't have the basic infrastructure for growth. Basic infrastructure for growth. It's about having electricity,
Mm-hmm.
having roads,
Mm-hmm.
dams. And what you do, you just, you don't. They don't. The West doesn't want the global South to have. How can I say? I mean,
I mean, they want to keep it
basically right, because those are the basic.
impoverished because hold on. This is from the Council of Foreign Relations and oh, okay. Actually, this is wow. This is the actual map. Sorry. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah. But let me just find what they said about Africa. Let's see. This is America's neocon. So okay, China. Okay. Let's see. No, there's something else. Uh, okay. So, wow. Let's see. Sorry, just give me a second. Okay. Okay. China has long as okay. This is what China has done on Kenya so far. Expanding the Mombasa seaport, building a deep seaport, and what is do you know what this does?
Well, deep sea port, for trading.
Ah,
It's those are. I mean, it's so important to have those foundations if you want to trade. Chinese. There is a saying in China. It says, if you want to become rich, start building a road. It's about cutting the leading time. It's about
and look
imagine.
at.
Yeah.
So
All those
apparently they're building a standard gauge railway, and Huawei also made a safe city, I guess. Prior to the China, okay, and which has gone towards the railway. Wow, it opened. Okay, they already opened the railway. So, oh my God, look at this. It cut the travel time between Mombasa and Nairobi in half. What does that mean for a country like Kenya?
I mean, it's huge. Lead time, connecting people. There's so much impact when it comes to prosperity for a country. There's a huge impact. Keep in mind, well, Kenya has access to the sea, but there are many countries around the world that are landlocked. Especially when it comes to Eurasia. If in Eurasia there's no Belt and Road Initiative, those countries they cannot export. How can you
Yes.
compete with countries which have ports? Ports are so important for trading, just for trading. If you don't have that and you are landlocked, you have no prospect. You cannot prosper. It's impossible.
Afghanistan is a great example. By the way, this kind of reminds me, but didn't they do some kind of astroturfed color revolution over environmental damage to dams in Myanmar?
Absolutely, they did it. So they canceled. They built halfway a dam, huge dam, and just because you had some NGOs, those fake NGOs, green NGOs that were saying, oh, you know what, you are going to damage some species. It's going to be, it's going to be bad for the environment. And it makes me think about, like those white people that have a really good life back home, and they want Myanmar people to live without electricity and not to have any roads. How arrogant is that?
Oh yeah, I think Brian told, or it was it you? I can't remember, but you told us about this one river where the British wanted to keep the ferries going through. So a truck has to drive to the thing, get on a ferry, and then go to the other side and drive because there was no bridge connecting the two.
I've seen it many times.
Oh, okay.
If you travel in Africa, I mean, they badly need bridges. You have to you want to cross a river, you have to go through a boat. It doesn't make any sense. But they want to keep those countries underdeveloped. And again, China is showing the way. If you want to have development, you need to build the foundation. Foundation, it's all about infrastructure. You build up schools, hospitals, roads, trains, dams, ports. This is
Yeah.
the foundations. Once you have that, you can start building up a modern society. But if you don't have electricity, I mean, when you look at Africa, many places don't have electricity, and it's being denied Africans.
Yes.
Why? Because they find excuses. Oh, you shouldn't have a dam. I mean, come on.
Well, I
Is
mean,
it the West? Sorry.
okay, so in 19, I can't remember the exact year, but the French actually destroyed all the electricity in Guinea. They actually went in and pulled out the copper wires right before they left because Guinea voted to be independent.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised.
Yeah. So I wrote an article about this a few years ago, but yeah, a lot of places the electricity was literally destroyed before the Europeans left.
Really not surprised. The thing is that once, for the West, the global South is a danger. Why is it a danger? Because, well, the population is, we're talking about 75% of the world population is in the global South. So if the GDP per capita was to increase, that would mean that the aggregate GDP would become too important compared to Europe and American economy. So that's the danger. So what you do, what the West is trying to do is just contain. You contain, keep them poor, keep having instability. Try to get your, puppet regimes that are going to follow your orders, but don't give them prosperity. You don't want them to be prosperous. You want to control them.
Exactly. And what people don't realize is that in this system, if you are digging raw materials, that is what actually takes the most labor, is going from like nothing to iron ore. But that's worth the least amount of money. Like processed iron, I don't have the figures off the top of my head for iron, but I can do cobalt. Like the copper cobalt ore is like worth like 5 cents a kilogram. But then when you have a one-step process, it's suddenly worth $52. No, $4 a kilogram. Sorry, it's worth $8 a kilogram when it's ore, and $52 a kilogram when it's one-step process. So, and the 90% of the work is going to be done from nothing to digging the ore, because with cobalt, it's like they call them artisanal miners, but it's really child slaves. So it's literally, there's nothing that Africans can do to catch up into this system if they're providing 90% of the labor and only getting like 1/8 of the money, right?
Exactly. It's a system of control. You keep them poor, and what the West wants from the global South is raw material. The global South is very rich in raw material. Africa is extremely rich, but you don't want the West only wants low added value products. Because what is important is the added value. Added value is how much workmanship, how much work you put your products.
Hold on, let me just show you. Okay, please keep talking, and I'll show you. I'll show them the trade statistics. Go ahead. Can you tell them what low value added product means?
I'm getting cut.
Oh, can you please tell them what the low value added product means?
Low value. Well, there's a process. That when you have a good, raw materials. I mean, raw materials. There's no added value. So when you work out, you see here I have a phone. The raw material itself doesn't cost anything. When China produces and sells to Apple, it's not $1,000 phone. It's maybe $15, $20. The rest is all marketing, it's branding, it's the old research, the applications, all the money that is done behind this. So you keep those low added value outside, and you keep your high added value in your country. And this is what the US is doing. This is
Okay.
how the US became rich.
Hold on, I
Because
found a
this-
chart. Let me just try to see if I can share the Bank's chart. So can you just help? Can you pick two random? Sorry, wrong one. Oopsie daisy. Give me 1 second. I'm sorry. Can you just help me pick two random countries where people can see this? Okay. Let's see. Country. Okay, let's do United States. Okay, I don't care. Okay, United States and another country. Which country? Okay. Okay, let's do this one. Okay. No. Okay. I know. Let's do DR Congo. That might be. Okay. Democratic.
So you see, when it comes to Africa, there's no transformation. Usually, it's the raw material. It's iron ore, it's fruits.
Hold on.
It's,
Exactly. It's no. Okay. So yeah, I found it. So let's do democratic. Okay. Why is it not coming up? Okay. Okay. Let me just see if I can show. I already took a screenshot of it earlier, so let me see if this works. Sorry. Here.
Yep.
No. It did not work. Just give me one. Why is found it. Okay. So here it is. Sorry about this. Here. Okay. This is the graph. Okay. So so this is from 2006. This is the trade statistics, I guess, or whatever. Like, so now, can you tell us? So, what do you know? Can you tell us? So, this is value. No, sorry. This is value added, right? The one in brown.
I'm just sorry. I just cannot see the map actually.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I cannot see. I'm just.
Okay, so it says that the red says cobalt ore, copper
sharing?
ore, crude petroleum, diamonds.
Okay.
These are all raw materials. So here it says cobalt, refined copper, raw copper. This is small amount of processed stuff, so value added. But here it's back to raw materials: rough wood, tobacco, coffee, rubber, and this is 2006. But look at what happened after they had a relationship with China. Notice how basically refined and raw switched places.
Oh, very good point. Absolutely. Well, China is actually trying to build up factories. It's not about just selling finished product. It wants to lift up those countries. If those countries become more prosperous, they are going to buy higher added value goods to China. So it's about lifting them up. You know, if you lift up those countries, they are going to trade higher value goods. You know, it's about global prosperity.
Yeah, I'm just curious. So how in a lot of the West, they've deindustrialized themselves. In the United States, majority of the manufacturing is done in other places. So how does the U.S. keep its hegemony despite not being in fully control of the manufacturing?
It's very simple. 800 U.S. bases around the world. They're using threatening, and they actually they maintain. This is how you maintain the global south under control. Simple as that. 800 U.S. bases around the world. This is new. I mean, it's imperialism. You know, it's a 2.0. You know, it's not. It's just a continuation of what the British Empire was doing.
Okay, so it's actually literally done via the barrel of a gun. So that's why they were so confident in deindustrializing in the 1970s.
Yeah, just adding to that, there's someone that is actually mentioning the US dollar hegemony. It's absolutely correct. US dollar dollar hegemony is actually a system of control. Why the US is going to a proxy war with the China all around the world, and there might be actually a direct confrontation, maybe in the next 5 to 10 years. It's related to the dollar hegemony. The US can actually, there's no limit to what it can print, because the US dollar is a global currency. If they print a lot of US dollar, there's not an impact in terms of inflation, because US is not a closed economy. It's because it's using a global currency. So now the risk is that if overnight the US dollar loses its hegemony, it would mean that USA would have a hyperinflation, because the more you print US dollar, the more you create inflation. So now the big threat is the US losing its dollar hegemony. And what China is doing is actually recycling its US. It's actually doing two things. It's trying to drop the US dollar and trying to use other currency to trade with partners. I'm giving you an example. Indonesia and China signed an agreement to trade with their own currencies and not use the US dollar. So they're undermining the US dollar. In addition to that, what China is doing is it's using its US trade surplus into buying tangible assets. China is no more buying US bonds. It used to finance the the US trade deficit by buying US bonds. There was the Ponzi scheme was like this. Now China is stopping the Ponzi scheme. Is actually investing into tangible assets, and it's much more valuable for China. It's actually throwing a stone and killing many birds. Belt and Road Initiative, it's a way to recycle US trade surplus, US dollar trade surplus that China has. It's a way to build infrastructure to sell your goods to your partners. It's a way to lift up your neighbor's economy, and it's a way also to undermine US hegemony around the world. So you see what is behind this. No, Belt and Road Initiative has a much bigger, deeper meaning behind this, and ultimately, the downfall of the US will be the downfall of the US dollar hegemony. Once the dollar won't be the number one global currency, it would mean the downfall of the US, because it's not sustainable. The trade deficit of the US is huge, and it's widening. It's widening every year, and it used to be financed by countries like Japan, Germany, and China buying US bonds. Even US partners like Japan and Germany are not buying US bonds anymore, because they know that at some point this Ponzi scheme will stop, and countries will end up with US dollar, which will be just worthless, just toilet paper currency. Well, this is why actually you have countries like China and Russia. They are buying massively gold. It's just to hedge.
Interesting.
Is to put the foundation for the next economy. There's going to be a new Bretton Woods, and maybe we are going to go back to some currencies which will have tangible assets backing them, not just printing paper. And tangible assets, it could be in forms. It could be in the forms of gold. Gold could be a possibility.
Actually, he did talk to me about this. We have one question. Why is the U.S. asking OPEC countries to start exporting more oil?
Can you say again? Sorry.
Why is the U.S. asking OPEC countries to start exporting more oil?
It's just offer and demand. If there is more offer, it's going to drive the price down. So maybe the level of oil price right now might be just too high for U.S. economy. Keeping in mind that right now the big risk in the U.S. Is to have inflation. And when you look at oil and inflation, there's a huge impact. The consumption of oil and the impact on overall inflation is big. So it's really related to keeping oil prices under control.
Okay. That's actually okay. That's actually very interesting. And thank you again for joining us. I'm gonna
My pleasure.
message
My
you.
pleasure.
I hope I can like maybe have you as like but a buy whenever you're available, like a special guest to like go through a lot of these foreign investment stuff. So, but I'll talk
My
to you.
pleasure.
But thank you so much.
Thank you, Asha. Asha. Bye bye.
Bye. Okay, so let's see. Whew, that was very informative, and I'm glad he was able to do it even in the middle of Caracas. Angelo is great; he's amazing. It's kind of funny because it's really funny because a lot of Western American yesterday, a lot of Americans were like, why do I need to read theory and all this stuff? But Angelo worked in international finance for a long time, and he has a grasp of everything way better than any leftist in America because he understands like the transactions that go into the creating this world. So I would have him any day over like any of those fake American DSA leftists because Angelo understands like the basic problem really well. No, they're not leftists in the United States. They're just stupid people who are really, yes, I agree. Most of them are clowns. Most of them are clowns. Most of them are clowns. Total clowns, utter and total clowns. Yeah, I will try to have him on more. Maybe we should do it. Like, I'm going to think about what to do because this will be fun. Yeah, yesterday, it's like, I don't know how to, yeah, most of them are just happy enough to not feel the thing is that if life does not, yeah, most of them are total clowns. I don't know what else to say besides that. Whew. Anyways, I'll try to figure out what to do with the imperialism segment where maybe it's bi-weekly or weekly with Angelo. And with that, I will say Slobodu narodu, smrti fascismo. No, you're not mean. You are just right. Good. Okay, we'll make it happen. No, you should. Americans need to hear the truth.